Welcome to the tokenized economy. Here is today's explainer on what is a block in a blockchain.
All right, so you've probably heard us talk about things like immutability and cryptographic hashes, those key features that make blockchains so secure. But how do they all fit together? Well, it all comes down to the most basic building unit of the whole system, the block itself.
So let's start with the big question. What actually is a block? At its core, it really is the fundamental piece of the puzzle.
Put simply, a block is basically a digital container. Imagine a bunch of transactions happening, someone sending an asset, a smart contract executing. All of that activity gets collected and bundled together into one of these blocks.
You know, a really great way to visualize this is to think of a block as a single page in a giant shared accounting book. It's a super simple analogy, but it perfectly explains what a block does. So, just like a page in that ledger, each block records a whole new batch of entries. And once that page is full of transactions and everything's been verified, it gets sealed and permanently added to the book. This creates that permanent, always growing chain of records. But here's the thing. A block is way more than just a simple list of transactions. Its real power comes from the other information that's packed inside. So let's pop the hood and see what's going on in there. Every single block has three key pieces of metadata. First up, you've got a timestamp, which tells you exactly when it was created. Second, and this is absolutely crucial, it contains the unique cryptographic hash of the block that came right before it. And third, it has its own hash, which is like a unique fingerprint for all the transactions inside that specific block. Okay, so we've got these individual blocks, each packed with data. But how do they all work together to create that famous security and immutability we're always talking about? This is where it gets really clever. So how do these separate blocks actually form that secure, unbreakable chain? The secret is in one of those pieces of metadata we just mentioned. That reference to the previous block's hash, that is the magic glue. Each new block points back to the one before it, creating this incredibly strong cryptographic link. And block by block, this forms that unbreakable chronological chain that goes all the way back to the very first one.
This brings up a really interesting scenario. What would happen if someone tried to be sneaky and go back to change a transaction in a block from, say, a few days ago?
Well, this is where the security design really shines. If you change even one tiny little detail in an old block, its unique hash completely changes. That instantly breaks the cryptographic link to the next block, and that break causes a chain reaction all the way down the line. The entire network would immediately see this broken link and reject the change. It's kind of like a digital alarm system that everyone is watching all at once. And look, this isn't just some cool tech theory. This tamper-proof design is already being used in some very serious financial applications, building a whole new level of trust in the real world. For instance, distributed ledger platforms are using this block structure for things like repo transactions, issuing digital bonds, and managing tokenized funds. For big financial institutions, having a shared, unchangeable record of every single transaction is an absolute game changer. It gives them security and transparency like never before, all without needing one single company to guard the data. So, let's just wrap this all up. A blockchain isn't some giant single file sitting on a server somewhere. It's a carefully built sequence of these individual blocks. Each one is sealed shut with cryptography and then changed to the one that came before it. And what you get from this beautiful, elegant structure is a shared, transparent, and incredibly trustworthy timeline of everything that has ever happened on the network. That's the big idea here. You end up with a system where you don't have to trust any single person or company, you just have to trust the math. Hope that helps clear up what a block in a blockchain really is. If you enjoyed this, be sure to subscribe for more explainers just like it. And hey, if you have a question or a topic you want us to tackle next, drop it in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in.